Everybody, Tim and Jordan here for the 7th week in a row, Star Trek Lower Deck, Season 1, Episode 7, Much Ado About Boimler, which is the Shakespeare Much Ado About Nothing, but anyways, right off the bat, what'd you think?
I thought the show was actually pretty good, had a lot of interesting plot points, definitely kept me entertained during the whole entire show.
Okay. I loved it. I thought this might actually be my favorite episode so far. Like, the whole thing was just nothing but references, more so than normal. And what I really liked is, as we kind of talk about, a lot of Star Trek has the A storyline and the B storyline.
Right.
This one did a really good job of tying the two together at the end. Where, so, like, the A storyline, we'll go with, Mariner. Where, well, first off, the pre-credit scene with the dog. It's not a normal dog.
Wake me up when there's something to be worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because I forgot what I'm so bad with the names.
That's why they're right there. Tendi.
Oh, Tendi or whatever. She's the one that creates this dog, and she's like, I used some like carbon fiber and some of this stuff, and I put it all together and remapped their DNA. And they're like, how did you figure out any time to do this? And she's like, when I told you I was going to the bathroom, I was really mapping her DNA. It's like, oh, so you just didn't go to the bathroom. It just worked. Got it.
I resequenced all billion, blah, blah, no.
Yeah. Guess what? Guess how I remapped her mitochondria? I'll tell you in just a minute. Like,
It's a funny story. So the first story, the A story, is mostly Mariner and one of her friends. So the captain goes away on an away mission, and Mariner's completely against a babysitter captain. And what I loved is she's like, we're going to get some Jellico type captain, which is a reference to The Next Generation, because there's an episode where Picard leaves and Captain Jellico comes in, and he's like just this hard ass.
Oh.
He's the one that actually makes Troy start wearing the suit with the blue stripe instead of just her little jumpsuit. So, because Jellico's just a douche. So, but ends up being one of Mariner's friends from when she was at the academy.
Right.
Which, again, kind of shows how long Mariner's been an ensign. Like, Mariner has to be at least 10 years older than Boimler, at minimum.
So I feel like they could be in, like, the same age, range. Just maybe Mariner, since her, like, it's no secret that her mom's a captain and everything. So she's been in Starfleet, technically, her entire life.
Yeah.
Whereas Boimler, his parents might have been doing something else, and then this is like one of his dreams, and this is what he studied for. So I feel like for Mariner, it's more of like, I feel like she's in Starfleet because of like, she knows people.
Like, she started at like 18, but Boimler started at like 25.
Yeah, but I feel like they're in the same age range.
I can see that, I guess. So we got that. And then just the whole like story of them having to like go rescue some ship where other stuff's going on. But I mean, I think it was kind of interesting because it did talk more about like Mariner self-sabotaging because she doesn't want to move up.
And yeah.
Like, she wants all the respect, but she doesn't want like the responsibility, basically.
I can see that. That's kind of how I have at work. Yeah, I think it's really, and that's actually, you end up figuring that out because her friend is like, hey, I need a first officer. Do you want to be my first officer? Mm-hmm. And then she's like all excited. She's super happy. And then also next thing you know, through the episode, she's actually like sabotaging things to make it seem that she's basically taking a dive. Mm-hmm. So she's like, I'm not really ready to be a first officer. Even though,
Because even though she is. Because then once like the shit actually hits the fan, boom, she's in action. Where was this Mariner before? You're dumb. Shut up.
Yeah. Be quiet. We got to get to the bridge where we can possibly save everybody.
Which, it just goes back to the first episode where she's like, 5 planets, Yeti prison. I'm right, you're wrong. Let's go. Yes. So I was like, okay, it worked for me. And then the B storyline that's the one all about Boimler, where Rutherford is trying to make a faster teleporter, and now Boimler is phasing constantly, so he's bright blue. Yes. It's no biggie. It's kind of a biggie. So I love that one. That one probably even had more references because they have to go to the farm. Mm-hmm. And so when they show up, in the 70s, Star Trek had the original animated series, and they had created 2 characters, Imress and Arex. Imress is like some sort of cat woman, and then that's where the Doctor is the same species.
Okay.
So the Doctor's race had previously only been seen in the animated series. Well, in this one, Arex from the animated series was an Edosian, and you see an Edosian in this one. He's like the head of Department 14.
Right.
Which is funny because if you look at the original animated series, Arex is always sitting down. Because he has 3 legs and he has 3 arms, but he's always sitting down because the animators could not figure out how to make him walk with 3 legs.
Oh, okay.
And so in this episode is the first time you see an Edosian walk.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I loved that. I thought that was great. And then the whole thing, it was just funny where like he loads Boimler, Tendi, and her dog, and the dog.
The dog, that's what its name is.
Onto the ship, and he's like, okay, I'm going to take you to the farm, and he's just all creepy and everything. And then basically it's like a circus show where you got like the one guy who's like getting older on one side but younger on the other.
Right.
There's just a giant head. The 2 that really jumped out at me is there's a woman in the wheelchair, which is the same wheelchair Pike had in the original series.
Right.
You probably even saw it in the Futurama episode, where it's like you push 1 for yes, 2 for no. We see that one. And then at one point, it almost looks like a salamander.
Right.
And they're like, that's Anthony! And it's like, did he used to be a guy?
We assume.
We assume so. That is a reference to Voyager. Because in Voyager, there's an episode where Tom Paris and Captain Janeway end up going faster than Warp 10, and it accelerates the human evolution, and the 2 of them turn into salamanders.
Oh.
And they have like little baby salamanders. So who knows? Anthony could actually be Janeway's son. We don't
never know.
But the whole thing, I really liked it. And then it turns out that he was going to the farm, and he just happens to laugh in a very kind of creepy sort of way.
And that's when they're on the ship, it's the guy that's like half old, half young. He's like trying to start a mutiny almost, and he's like, we gotta stand up and we gotta like, get power, blah blah blah. And also next thing, Boimler is like, hey, just so you know, whatchamacallit, what's his name again?
Which one?
Artrex?
Oh no, I didn't write. I don't know if they said his name. The Edosian.
The Edosian. Okay, yeah, fine. We'll say his name. Yeah, okay, the Edosian. Boimler goes up to him and is like, hey, just so you know, mutiny's happening right now because we don't really know if we're actually going to the farm or not. It's kind of creepy here. There's no lights. And he gets all angry and he's like, there's no mutiny on my ship. And so he goes and I just thought it was really funny because when he goes to the bridge hall where everyone is, he's like, mutiny, and they're all like, what are you talking about? He's like, Boimler told me. Boimler, this guy right here.
All 3 hands.
Yeah, all 3 hands. This guy over here told me, mutiny. You guys are all remain in your own cell until the remainder of the trip. Mm-hmm. And then it's just like, wow, guys, I don't know where he got that idea.
Don't tell him I tattled. Oh, Boimler.
I thought that was really funny. Because again, Boimler, he's like, and realistically, he goes to tell him like, hey, can you just kind of like give us a heads up? Like, he even says when he's talking to the Edosian or whatever, he's like, can we just all get into a conference room and just kind of like, just tell us where we're going? And,
let's figure this out.
Yeah. And he kind of overreacts, but still, it's kind of, that's how I feel like management is. One little small thing from the bottom people.
This is why communication is key.
Yes.
And then what I loved at the very end is when they kind of tie them together, where like Mariner and the other captain are like, they're about to like be crushed to death by this alien, but because of Rutherford's new faster teleporter, he's able to whisk them out of there. And now they're all phasing.
Yeah, they go to save. I forgot what ship it's called, but she's like, I told them to replace their power.
They
like,
didn't listen.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, we're gonna go save them again. And then when they even beam onto the...
If he was a captain, when did I tell you to fix this? I told you like 3 star dates ago.
Right, so they beam onto the ship, and she's like, all right. She's like, we already know they're in some holding cell that we have to go save them from. She's like, can everyone get their cameras ready so when I save this chick in her wheelchair again? She's like, can we all get a picture of it, please? I thought that was pretty funny, and then come to find out, the ship that they're all on this breach hold, and they actually have power, but there's like an alien that
absorbs it.
Yeah, like absorbs power, and so they cut the power off in the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was funny because, well, not really funny, but during the episode...
Sorry about your starship.
Yep, sorry about your starship. So anyways, so this energy thing, they turn the power back on, and then it starts to take over the ship again, and then when they're able to beam out of it, it almost looks like a jellyfish.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny, like, that's what I thought, because the first episode of The Next Generation... It's a giant jellyfish. That's the first alien they meet. And I was like, is it? But it's not quite the same. But it looks very, very similar.
Yeah, so I thought that was, I don't know. So far, I liked a lot of like I said, all the plot points on this one all had me really interested.
And they all, like I said, I love how they all connected.
And I like towards the end when they actually do get to the farm,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I know the trip is long, but once you get here, it's all worth it.
Mm-hmm. And then by that time, Boimler's like cured.
Yeah, he
He's
rolls
back in
off.
phase.
He rolls off the ship and he's cured. And that's the massage therapist. They're like, "Ooh, we call dibs on him," and they're like, "He's not even a freak anymore." And they're
He's
like,
a normie.
"Oh, what?" And then the dog, when she's like floating away from Tendi.
Oh, he can talk.
Yeah, she could talk, and she's like, "Wow!" And then as like they're floating away, it's like, so wait, dogs really can't like roll their eyes back in their head, and they can't morph? No, that's not a normal dog. Wow, you really are a freak. I know. I didn't want you to be sad. Yeah.
And then she finally meets a real dog, and she's like, "Ew, that's gross."
Yeah, she's like, "It licked me. It's so disgusting."
Yeah. Let's see. I love this episode. I thought this was a great
Yeah,
episode.
I know. Like I said, or whatever. This one definitely all plot points had me interested. So.
Any other closing thoughts? What did you think? I mean, granted, you never saw the original series, but what did you think of the Edosian?
He was another species.
Yeah, it didn't stand out at you.
No.
Actually, the one that stood out to me that I didn't recognize, so if anybody watches this, hopefully they know, was the captain from the other ship had like this purple alien with her.
Oh, yeah.
And I had no idea what that was. I even tried like Googling like Star Trek purple aliens.
I've got a list of other stuff.
Didn't recognize him at all. And I mean, granted, he could have just been made up for this specific episode, but I was really kind of intrigued by him. But yeah, lots of references, lots of little shout outs in this one. Do you want to get a dog? The dog?
Yeah, the dog.
I like once it like its head came back and it started walking upside down like The Exorcist. I was like, nope. Wake me up if it turns into something I care about.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, that's it. Lots to talk about for this one.
Yeah.
Any other closing thoughts? Something that you absolutely love? Something you like were like, nah, that could have been cut out.
Well, one thing, just because I've said in the previous, I've always felt like Mariner and Ranson, or whatever, they're going to have a random, like, love connection. I love it when Mariner's friend and him, Mariner and her, the new captain, are in the captain's quarters, and she's playing around with all the captain trinkets and everything like that. She's having a hard time, like, her friend's having a hard time reading the list of stuff that they're supposed to do. And she, like, is like, come on, we gotta be serious about this. And she's like, okay, fine. And she's like, so, have you seen Ransom's photon torpedo? She's like, oh, God, no.
I like literally as we're watching it, Mariner and him at the same time go, ew. Like it was perfect sync. And I was like, oh. And then she flips him at the end.
Yeah.
The captain. So I was like, oh, that's great. I forgot. I wrote that in the notes and I still forgot about it.
Yep. That's the part that I thought stuck out to me, just because I just love that little part. Just ew,
a
gross,
photon torpedo. It's a mental image. It's never going away. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's good.
Nope. Okay. So for those who have seen this one, what did you think about the dog? What did you think about the Jellico babysitter captain story? What did you think about the Edosian character in the farm? How many references did you guys catch in like the little circle of freaks type thing? Because I'm sure there's more. Like the pike chair and the salamander are the only two that really jumped out at me. So go ahead, let me know. Like I said, I loved this one. I think this is my favorite so far. And we're almost done with the season. I think there's like 3 more episodes. So go ahead, let us know, and we will see you guys next week.